Hello, I'm Actual Chatterteeth. I'm here with Speed and Sam, and I'm here to show you a variation of the unloading shenanigans that can be done in WOODLE Tree Adventures 2 Worlds, where you complete the game with 0 teardrops instead of 1 teardrop, which is the fastest route. So this is slower by a couple of seconds, but you don't need to do any timing with when you do the teardrop. So with that said, the first thing you do is, of course, go into multiplayer, since this is the co-op run, and you do it with online multiplayer.
I guess this route can be slightly easier than doing the fastest route.
This is definitely slightly easier. So the reasons this is easier is because you have to do less stuff with loading zones. So when we come in here again, there's the only well, I guess I'll get onto that later for people who haven't seen the first one. But the first thing you will do is follow the normal any percent route where you get all the tiers and just go down this path. Both players will be doing this, due to the fact that
we don't get water storage in the beginning.
Yeah, I was going to address water storage later, but in contrast to the old route, you do not get water storage here. So what you do here instead is you have the fighter wait for the unloader to get this load zone. Then once he enters into the load zone, I'm going to run to the other side and run all the way to the wall. By the time I do that, the load zone will not be here for me to run into, and I can hold right on the D-pad, which makes Little Tree do this little dance and spawn back over here. So now we're going to run directly right from the big tree, so down this path. And so this essentially does a variation of the unloading you do with 1 tier, but it unloads this area all over here. So the boss would normally be over there, but as you see, there's no giant gray box or any room over there. And that's because it's just not loaded. So this death we do right here is to reload the entire first area and have it so that that room is loaded in. So while running back to where we just had to go out of bounds, one variation that I will note about this route is that the unloader is a lot less involved. The unloader just has to
do is load once, and that's it.
Yeah, the unloader just has to load one thing, and then they do nothing for the rest of the game. And the fighter just kind of walks off the edge a lot. So once you go back down the hole, there'll be this giant gray area you can float over to. This is actually the roof of the boss area, and there's a few ways you can get back in. One way is by going through this hole here, which then when you run that way, you'll get to the boss. And another way is when you're on top of this, which I can't get back on now. But once you're on top of that... Once you're on top of that, there's a giant hole in the ceiling which you can go down, which we do in the 1 tier route. And there's also this ledge over here, which lets us run this way. The fastest way to do it is doing it the way we do in 1 tier, where we drop from the ceiling of the actual final boss room. And so from here, we are just able to fight the final boss and beat the game. So as of right now, this is around a second or 2 slower, at most 3 seconds slower than the 1 tier route. Though it is much easier with you not having to time perfect, like reloads and whatnot. But done optimally, this is slower. The upsides to it being it is a much easier route, since all you really have to do is die and then float down and do the boss, instead of like all the unloading stuff. But the unloading stuff does definitely make the run more entertaining for the unloader. Another thing to note, Cornbread's not doing his homework right now. What a man. So, things to note. What I'm doing... Oh, I did not explain this at all.
What did I explain?
I need to explain water storage, but first off... Yeah, let me go explain that. So I explained this in the This is 0 tier tutorial, but there's a trick you use in the final boss called water storage. Now, normally when you have your leaf out above your head, you can pick up water, but when you drop it, you drop the water. You have to do this on each of the boss's bulges 3 times. And so, it's really easy to drop the water. So the easy way to do this is by getting the water in your leaf, and then attacking and letting go of the leaf button, which keeps the water in your hand. This is called water storage, and it makes it so that the next time you press the Y button on Xbox to pull the leaf on top of your head, it puts the water there. And then you can restore it by attacking. So this lets us move around normally while having water on our leaf, and is used throughout the whole final boss. So with that being said, that is the tutorial for the 0 tier route for any % co-op. It is slightly slower than the 1 tier route, however much easier. And I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Sadly, there's no cool ending cutscene, so I guess I'll just leave you guys saying, beginners do this route, and then once you want to master the master the WOODLE tree,
Yeah.
the 1 tier route is definitely better.
Yeah.
Sam, any final thoughts?
I see the Oracle. That's it.
That's it. Alright, with that out of the way, thanks for watching.